What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Kevin to turn on this motherfucking YouTube shit.
Gang, gang, this is serious.
Wow! What the fuck? What's up? It's your boy Kevin to turn on this YouTube shit. Hey man, say man, they tripping out on these motherfucking videos, man. Your boy is putting up another video. You dig? This is a different video from a different video. It's not like exactly the whole video. It's the you know what I'm saying? It's the reaction of the video kind of. It's just they niggas cutting it up and shit, you know what I'm saying? They don't watch, can't really watch the whole video because they're taking them bullshits down. You know what I'm saying? So we finna watch this one. Let's turn up, let's get it, let's go, let's get it.
Floyd said that this was going to be a legalized bank robbery, and it was, but it wasn't Logan Paul that he was robbing out of, it was of course the fans, because somehow the fight turned out to be even worse than expected. The first couple rounds, it was obvious that Floyd Mayweather was trying to be a bit responsible, not getting hurt. It's the same approach he went up against Conor McGregor with, generally not a lot of offense, gassing out the bigger man until punishing them in the later rounds. In the first round, Floyd was a little bit more elusive, a little bit more on the back step, as Logan Paul was looking for his jab, and Floyd was just feeling out the range and picking out his openings. In the next couple rounds, Floyd gets on the front foot action, pressures the bigger man a little bit more, heavy trunk movement, which he knew would trigger Logan Paul's power punches, where a more experienced boxer would know to move away in position before throwing the big punches. Right, Logan Paul saw, oh, head move, I punch head, and it's one of the reasons why you saw Logan Paul come out there with arm punches. Pretty much punches with no body behind it, which can make even the biggest men punch very weak. And ultimately, instead of just moving away from Logan Paul's punches, Mayweather was standing his ground in front of him, slipping the punches, and just walking forward, getting the bigger man to move away. Brought back his Philly shell, shoulder rolling punches. Mayweather's defense was definitely on point, but what you will see is his offense became a lot more telegraphed than before. This may be due to Logan Paul's reach and the fact that Mayweather had to cover more ground than ever before against any opponent, but I really don't think so, man. I think Floyd's age, the fact that he didn't really train for the fight, all of that took into account that he was just loading up, winging punches from a distance, and made it so obvious to the point that even Logan Paul saw them coming, where he's covering a lot of ground, cocking back his right hand before he throws it naked, or he's leaning to his left before he wings out a left hook, or just simply loading up his left hip before throwing the left hook. Logan Paul's able to see that one coming before the punch even flies out there. And this was the most frustrating part of the fight, because even though Logan Paul had many openings presented on himself, so many holes that Kevin Lee was losing his mind. I mean, the openings were there from a technical standpoint, a tactical standpoint, and just really off reflexes. Floyd could act, and there's openings presented from the body to the head. He can react, and they're still there, or he can cause Logan Paul to do something, manipulate him a little bit, and there's even more openings presented. Let's take this scenario as an example. Floyd walks in squared, Logan uses his first line of defense of posting out that jab in order to create space, and Floyd easily slips the punch and weaves right while taking that right step. A prime Floyd Mayweather, what he could have done here is take a wider right step, which settles his position in order to take a further outside step for either shifting it to the other stance, which is actually something he didn't normally do, or fade out with a big left hook to the liver. Because as you can see, Logan Paul, when he pumps out this jab, he lifts his right arm above the ribcage. Floyd could have easily took a far out right step, creating a lot of momentum into a whipping left hook to the liver, and fading out to that right side as he weaves. And it doesn't even end there. After the fade, he would have an advantageous angular position. What Logan Paul most likely try to do is face Floyd Mayweather, but there's different ways of how you can do this. He can pivot and swing around his back foot, or he would step to the left with his lead foot, creating an even bigger opening on himself for Floyd to land his right hand or a left hook to the head. But instead of all that, what does Floyd do? He simply just walks forward and throws no punches at all. Walks forward into Logan Paul and gets into the clinch with him. Logan Paul did not show pretty much any kind of meaningful defense besides posting and pumping jabs, something that Floyd should be able to easily parry and slip around in order to attack freely. Logan Paul also had the shoulder bump into a clinch, which again Floyd should be able to use his footwork and get away or pivot around. And even the occasional, Logan Paul was slipping some of Floyd's attacks from a distance. And that was because some of Floyd's attacks from a distance were somewhat telegraphed. But the fact that Logan Paul had no real defense to him, and all he was doing was moving back, sometimes extending his lead hand at Floyd Mayweather, that was enough to cause Floyd to miss his shots like that. I understand he never fought a guy this long before, but even still at his experience, if he trained for the fight, he gauged the distance for the first couple rounds, he shouldn't be missing at the rate that he was from a distance like that. There were so many things that Floyd Mayweather could have landed on him, and a prime Floyd Mayweather, one who trained for the fight, took this fight seriously, instead of as a bank heist, would have absolutely blasted through these openings, man. But for the most part, Mayweather was dishing out his damage in close quarters. Logan Paul should be more durable than probably some people expected, and his gas tank definitely surpassed expectations. Now, even though this match was probably going to be frustrating or disappointing right from when they announced it, but I would have to say it's more on Floyd Mayweather's side that it became even worse than on Logan Paul's side. If you're taking the perspective of, you at least want to see some sort of entertainment, right? You want to see something fun happen. From a technical standpoint, of course, Logan Paul was not the one to look at. Logan Paul did what he had to do, right? I understand he was clinching up a lot, and he was disengaging from action a lot of times. He was throwing a lot of jabs and arm punches. I think a lot of people expected Mayweather to show a little bit better in this one, especially for the money they were asking for in order to watch this match. But at the same time, the fight was not going to be great no matter what. It's a 44-year-old Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. And Logan Paul pretty much used his size as a way to survive Floyd Mayweather. Even his coaches in the final rounds were asking for him to survive the fight. Don't do anything crazy and just go 8 rounds, because in that way you win. In a sense, yes. I mean, there are going to be a lot of fans who are going to look at this like Logan Paul lasted 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. Some are even going out and saying that Logan Paul looked better than Conor McGregor in the later rounds. But even though Floyd's offense is nowhere near the same as it used to be, his defense is still absolutely impeccable. Logan Paul was not able to land really many gloves on him. Floyd's counterpunching, his slipping, all that stuff was still something to appreciate, as it probably always will be. But man, this fight was something else. And they say there were no winners tonight, but there were. There were 2 winners, Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. They made a bunch of money, and they walked off. Nobody got knocked out. No judges were there to declare a winner. If there were scorecards, I would say Floyd won the fight. I thought Floyd was a couple rounds up, and honestly, man, this kind of stuff, in my opinion, does hurt the sport of boxing. The more it happens, the more it becomes popular. The more fights like this become a thing, there are going to be a lot of the casual boxing fans that are just going to be turned off by the sport and move somewhere else. When the Paul brothers become some of the biggest names in the sport, you know there's something wrong going on. I read somewhere that they were estimating the pay-per-view to be somewhere around 1 million buys. There are not a lot of boxers who are drawing 1 million pay-per-view buys, man. There's Canelo, there's maybe Tyson Fury with the right matchup. I don't know how Anthony Joshua does in the United States, but the fact of the matter is, there's not a lot of boxers who are generating that much attention in the sport. Now, for one, most people who are going to be watching the Paul brothers fight aren't going to be necessarily interested in boxing in the first place. Most of them are wanting to watch some sort of spectacle, be entertained somewhat, right? At least, like, Jake Paul, even though he's repulsive, to a lot of people, his fights are pretty entertaining. Not to me, of course, but to a lot of people he is. He knocks people out, it doesn't last that long, he talks a lot of stuff, he plays the villain very well, and now he's going up against Tyron Woodley, who's not a boxer. Both guys have one-punch knockout ability. Someone is going to get hurt in that fight, and that's what people want to see. Whether it's a high-level fight or a low-level fight, that kind of entertainment, when it comes to the promotion, when the promoters get behind it, the way they shamelessly are, it's going to garner the attention that you see. Like I've been saying, man, it's not the boxers necessarily that are hurting their sport, it's the promoters. Not all of them, of course, but there are a lot of promoters in the sport who are absolutely destroying boxing completely. In my opinion, boxing already died to me. For the most part, I've been turned off from boxing for a very long time. I've talked about that the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder first fight was pretty much the nail in the coffin for me to follow the sport religiously like I used to. And honestly, it doesn't surprise me that this is the angle that the promoters have taken to make more money out of boxing. If this keeps up, man, there's a point where you're not going to see much of a future out of this. Potentially, I hope not. I do want boxers, of course, to make their living off the sport. But even when you have guys like Ryan Garcia, who's the biggest prospect of the sport, I believe, he's even talking about retiring young and going to MMA. The sport of MMA in general is doing it much better than boxing, especially when you have a guy like Dana White. You have the UFC, who will put some restrictions on the... Yes, they'll sign CM Punk, which was very weird. Yes, they'll sign Brock Lesnar, who turned out to be a success in his own right. He won fights, he became the champion, all that stuff. It was an experiment gone right for them, whereas CM Punk was an experiment gone wrong. There was a Kimble Slice opportunity, but the thing that UFC will not do, they will not headline cards and put freak show fights, spectacles like this, above their talents. So all in all, the boxing match wasn't anything fun. It was pretty dull in my opinion.
I thought it was a good ass boxing match. Good to see Floyd Mayweather take a good ass W. That nigga just want. This dude just wanted to see some motherfucking he just want to see Logan win. Bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way that nigga was gonna win.
No,
Feel me?
Skip, look.
Okay, this is
Floyd
the
made a career, made his living on not taking unnecessary risk. and he wasn't gonna walk. This kid, look, he's 50 pounds heavier than Floyd at the fight. Skip, he's so much bigger. And Floyd is, what, 44 years of age. And the hand speed and the precision is not there anymore. He knows it. And for me, look, Floyd's like, if I can pick up a quick $20, $30 million, however much he made, Skip, it was more than had he not taken the fight he could have made. He's like, I'm not taking any risk. Because the kid, Paul did land a few good shots on Floyd. He hit him with a couple of shots. I don't think it hurt Floyd, but he did land a couple of shots. But the thing is, Skip, you hurt his corner. That's the greatest fight of all time. And you laughed with him. Skip, it was just about him getting there and finishing the fight. It wasn't about him beating Floyd. He just wanted to finish to say, a YouTuber. I do jokes, I eat Legos, I step on your, I jump on play, I do all this crazy stuff. And I went 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. I've done something that
niggas
a lot
eat
of boxers
Legos.
can't say they did, and they're trained in this. And I did it. So for me, Skip, I think Floyd just looked. Floyd, you done made enough money. You convinced me to watch damn near every fight you've ever fought. The ones I didn't attend in person, I watched on pay-per-view. Floyd, let this go now. Floyd wasn't in shape to fight. Now, he wasn't in Skip Floyd. Floyd is a naturally small man. He
didn't even train for it, though. He still whooped his ass, though.
That's why he can fight his whole career at 147. Skip, all he's taking, you go to camp for 8 weeks, you're going to drop 8 pounds easy. So that's why he was never tasked to like, oh, man, he barely made weight. Because he's a naturally small man. He's a naturally 50-poundish man. Well, he only fought once at 154, and he didn't even make that. He fought at like 150. So for me, it wasn't entertaining. It was just a bunch of hugging and holding on. Floyd was not going to take the risk to put himself in harm's way the way he would need to.
He did get some good ass licks in that fight, though.
I think Jake or Logan. Logan Paul.
He's lucky it wasn't Jake Paul, or he might have been
This
in
Logan
trouble.
first fight.
Jake
You
was
know what I'm
a
saying?
lot during the whole thing.
Yeah.
But Skip, Logan Paul was so much bigger than Floyd. Floyd has never fought a man that much bigger than he is. So now
They say it was like
you gotta punch
194
up
in that
instead
bitch.
of just punch, even kill. But that was disappointing because I thought I would. Even if he didn't knock him out, I thought he'd get a lot more shots than what he did on him. But I thought the kid did pretty well for himself.
He did pretty well for himself. Even though this did not count on Floyd's record, obviously, it's 50-0.
Yeah.
It tarnished Floyd's legacy in my mind because I carefully watched
How?
it thinking it was going to be a joke.
Right.
I think most people thought it was going to be Ringling Brothers.
The
in
nigga
the
bomb
ring.
rushed the nigga. What the
Circus.
fuck the nigga supposed to do?
And even in the pre-fight interview that they did on
He took the nigga out
Showtime,
at the end, though.
Floyd
You know what
admitted,
I'm
he
saying?
said, I'm retired from boxing, but I'm not retired from entertaining.
Right.
And he said, I'm paraphrasing how he said it, but he said, I'm trying to decide, should I just knock him out early or should I let it last for a while?
Right.
Because that's what he thought was about to happen. That did not happen.
Right.
In fact, Floyd tried to just peekaboo him for the first 2 rounds, just sort of feel him out. In the second round, he resorted to some Ali rope-a-dope,
Yeah,
trying
he's
to
trying to
wear
tire
him
him
out,
out, yeah.
right? And then in the third round, Floyd got tagged a couple of times.
Yeah, he did.
Not that he got hurt or knocked down, but he got tagged.
Right.
And it ticked him off. And he got mad, and he started coming full force.
Right.
Whatever he had left at 44, he was throwing at Logan Paul in the third round. And I have never seen Floyd Mayweather Jr., the greatest defensive fighter ever, not a great knockout puncher, but still a good puncher.
Right.
I've never seen him swing and
That
miss
nigga
so much.
that
'cause he
nigga
swung
dodge
and
and weave
missed with
everything.
A bunch of haymakers. And I know the stats are tilted way in Floyd's favor because Floyd landed 43 of only 107 punches, while Logan Paul was 28 of 217. Logan
That's
Paul
what-
threw 207. He threw 110 more punches.
And none
than
of them
Floyd
even
did.
hit.
So he was
They threw all
coming.
these
He was
motherfucking
trying.
punches, and none of them bitches
He's
hit.
not a bad technical boxer, or he would have gone down.
Yeah.
Because the point was, not only
So it
did
looked
Floyd
good.
knock
It
him out,
looked
he
good like that
never
nigga
even
was
knocked
bomb
him
rushing
down
that
one
nigga,
time.
throwing them
Not
big ass
one time
crazy hits.
was Logan Paul,
The nigga didn't even
what you'd
hit
say was
nothing.
in trouble in that
Dazed,
fight.
nope.
Not one time. He had a little bit of a mouse under one eye. He took a couple of whacks. Floyd got in the better shots.
Yeah, he had the cleaner shots.
And I tried to score it. I know it wasn't being scored.
Right.
But just very simply, I gave Floyd 5 out of 8 rounds. So if it had counted, he would have won on points. It would have been fairly close, but he would have won on, at least on my card. I saw ESPN's card, they had it about the same. So it wasn't that. It was that Shannon Sharp bought this and went to watch it at a theater, and I bought this and watched it on my couch with Ernestine and Hazel, and I was ready for the silliness. I wanted to see how fast he was going to go down.
And we talked about this earlier, but I thought Ocho Cinco fight was more entertaining than this.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. You could certainly argue that, but I was entertained just because I wasn't entertained.
I
kept waiting.
I was disappointed.
You're a Floyd fan. I'm not. And so after a while, I'm definitely not
I
a
thought
Logan
the fight
Paul
was pretty
fan.
good,
I
to be
found
honest, you know what I'm
myself
saying?
rooting
The
for Logan
nigga didn't get
Paul
knocked
to
out,
just
you know what I'm
stand up.
saying? But
if you would stand up for 8 rounds.
Floyd held
and it
his
got to a
ground. The nigga
point
tried
where
to bomb
in
rush
the
him,
8th round,
and none of them
he's
motherfucking hits
clowning
landed.
Floyd. He's
What
making
you supposed to
fun
do with
of
that
him. He was
bullshit?
like, you can't knock me out.
Skip, it's like anything. If I'm a novice tennis player and I go out there and I take a game off of Nadal or Joker, I won. I'm good.
Oh, if you did.
Thank you, Skip.
Yes.
You the professional.
Yes.
I ain't got no business in here. I'm just doing this. I'm just joking around.
This was the effectively taking a game off Nadal.
Yes.
Because he stood up the whole fight.
Right.
And Floyd was trying, doing his damnedest to at least knock him down one time, and he could not do it.
He couldn't.
And afterward, Floyd readily admitted, hey, I'm not 21 anymore.
Right.
And he was better than I thought.
He was the age, Skip, the age, and like you said, if you look at the misses. But I noticed this, Skip, against Conor, because I noticed a younger Floyd, Conor would have been out of there inside of 5 rounds. But as we start to age, Skip, that marksmanship, that Floyd was pinpoint accurate. I mean, you look at him against Cotto. You look at him against some of them other fighters, and he didn't
never been anyone better.
Threw them motherfuckers hard too, and hit him directly in the face.
And pinpoint accuracy.
Yes. He could roll the shoulder, and you throw, and he come back, boom.
When he threw, again, there were sometimes powder puff kind of punches, but they landed where they were intended to land.
They really be feeling like the fight wasn't that good.
And Floyd didn't look right to me. I know he's grown the beard, but it made his face look fat, which was shocking to me.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, I mean, there's a difference between being
the nigga was moving around the ring,
okay, I'm in shape.
everything.
Floyd's in great shape to be a 44-year-old man. He's in really good shape.
Oh, he is. I
agree. But he is not in 44. He's not in boxing shape. That's a whole different type of shape.
Because he used to fight at 147, as you said, and he weighed in
155.
155. 2 days, was it 2 days ago?
Yes. I mean, that's like, what, 8, 9, 10 pounds? What the fuck?
He might have fought at 160 something, right? Because he looked like, and he was a little pudgier around his waistline than usual. Usually, he's almost too skinny. You know, like he was, you want to talk about ripped and thin.
Yes,
man,
yes. But you look at Jake Paul, and I'm watching Jake Paul in the ring. Jake Paul, he weighed at 189.
That was
in the ring, 195.
Ain't no way they could
doubt.
even think the nigga Logan Paul was gonna win that shit. And if he think he gonna even come up close to the shit, the fight was not even close, to be honest.
So much bigger.
How you throw 200 something
taller?
hits?
A lot longer.
Only hit like less than half of them. The other opponent throw like way less and hit way more than what you hit.
Big arm span, but he's just so much bigger.
Ain't no damn sense.
And it was hard for Floyd because it's too much tonnage to fight through.
When somebody that much bigger than you lean on you, Floyd would try to hit him with the uppercut. But you hit him in his chest. Where normally he throwing that punch against somebody his sight. That's a chin shot.
Pacquiao somebody.
He caught Conor with that shot in the clinch. Boom. Well, this dude is. That's a big man. Logan Paul's a big man.
He did that nigga in the gut with a good one, though. I thought he was trying to hit in the gut.
Now, if he were to get in the ring with Bud Thurman, he get in the ring with somebody that's active now, they get him out of there in a couple of rounds. But that's a different ball game when Floyd is just exhibition. Floyd is just mainly hitting the heavy bag. Floyd's not sparring anymore, Skip. He's on the speed bag. He's on the heavy bag. He's doing jump rope. That's a whole different ball, a whole different animal than actually fighting.
So because I do have so much respect for Floyd as a boxer, that was embarrassing for him. That just for me, it hurt my eyes to watch it. I'm going to have a hard time getting it out of my memory bank because it might be the last I ever see of Floyd in any kind of quote-unquote fight.
Right.
Because I would recommend to him that was not worth it.
Yeah, let it
I know, he's made
20,
jokes
30.
About, hey, if Conor wants a rematch,
they ain't thought it was a good-ass fight, man. They really don't like the fight.
I just don't want to see it anymore.
No.
I want to try to hang on to my memory of Floyd versus Pacquiao,
Right.
going back to all those Cotto
Right.
fights and all, because you want to talk
I
about
want to
wizards.
still see Floyd versus Jake
You want to
Paul.
talk
The
about
fuck?
gifted? You want to talk about the ability to duck punches, to avoid punches? There's never been anything like him before. Even
Nothing.
the great Sugar Ray Leonard wasn't quite in
Not the
Floyd's
defense.
class.
The only guy that had defense at that size like him was Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Yeah.
But Sweet Pea's offense wasn't like his. That's what made Floyd Mayweather so spectacular. He had the defense of Sweet Pea, but he had an offensive arsenal that was unrivaled. Guys had offense, you know, the Kings. When you talk about Leonard, Durant, Hearns, all those Hagler, Skip, they had offensive firepower, but they couldn't dodge punches like this guy. And that's why you see, you look, Tommy Hearns, they have to use subtitles. All these guys, Floyd still
But
is able to go
what
around and
what
function
the fuck would
because
they
he
be?
didn't
What
take
would
those
they be
punches because of his
expecting? You know what I'm
defensive
saying?
skill set.
I know
Floyd
it was a long
almost
time ago, but
50
do you remember
years.
what Floyd did to Canelo?
But the
I
nigga
know it's
almost
forever.
50
Yeah.
years old.
Canelo was a
The
baby,
nigga 13
but-
pounds
but
over
you
his
wanna talk
weight.
about taking
The
somebody to
nigga,
school?
Logan Paul was like
Yeah, I mean,
It was a mismatch.
5 inches taller
people
than
don't
him.
realize, Skip,
Nigga
that
weighed
early
like
on, Floyd started out at 130.
60
Floyd was knocking
pounds
people
more
out
than this nigga,
until his
bro.
hands got bad.
Yeah, he did
and
have
he
bad.
beat everybody.
And he
beat
still
Cotto,
won.
Madonna, Hatton, got it, you name it. He didn't duck anybody. And they talk about, well, Floyd don't knock. No. He didn't duck anybody. You go back and look at Floyd's
Still
career.
not sure he fought anybody of note when he caught them at their peak or their right.
No, he made him look like that, Skip. He just made him look bad. He made him look bad.
Yeah, but
Now Canelo, now you realize just how special it was. Because Canelo's gone up in weight. Canelo's 168 now. So obviously that's off the table.
Yep.
And now Canelo looks unbeatable.
he does.
But he pitched a shutout. He shut him out.
Well, I for one, how much was it? $49.95.
Yeah.
I didn't mind spending
damn,
my
niggas paid
$49.95.
$50.
When I spent it for two reasons. I wanted to see Ocho.
Yeah, well, and Ocho went first, and we're going to talk about it.
Dang, they put
That
Ocho
was one of
Cinco
the highlight of the
on
night.
that?
Although I did get a kick out of seeing Floyd have to labor all through 8 3-minute rounds just to get through it.
He's never had a man that size
No.
lean on him for 8 rounds, Skip. That's a lot to hold him up.
Yeah,
So, okay, you paid
Floyd,
for it.
give it a rest.
We're talking, whether or not it was embarrassing, they're looking at $100 million, right?
Damn!
For Floyd, possibly $20 million for Logan Paul. So maybe they're the ones laughing at us.
I don't know. I might
Right,
have to get on
nigga,
that
what?
thing. What you think, Skip?
What do
You
you
think
guys
what I'm
look
thinking?
like?
What?
do you think?
You and
100
me?
million for that? What?
That is something I could get behind, and I feel like many
about
would
one
as
minute
well.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, bitch.
Watching, you can subscribe here.
So,
to get the latest from the show, and be
I
sure to
thought the
check
fight
out
was pretty
more
good, you
of the
dig,
best
you know what I'm
clips from
saying?
Undisputed, or go watch
Floyd
the
Mayweather, you know what I'm saying, did his
other
motherfucking
shows.
thing, you know what I'm saying? Nigga old as hell. Jumping in the ring with that, you know what I'm saying? Tall as hell, got all that weight on him, and Floyd still won. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck are we supposed to do? My last video got the blocked shit. You know what I'm saying? So this is gonna be my second video. It's not the full fight, but I can probably put the link in of the whole fight if y'all want to see the whole fight. They ain't finna block my other video like this. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to these videos up, man. Your boy is still trying to get back in the reaction flow game. You know what I'm saying? They really trying to block these videos. Make sure y'all fuck with your boy. You know what I'm saying? Trying to do big things on this motherfucking man. Be patient with your boy. We gonna go straight to the top in this bit. And like and subscribe me out this bitch. Deuces.
Hey, Dad, you know, dog, when we link up, dog, this shit be legendary. You know this instrumental, you the engineer on it, so Kodak everywhere.